afternoon, everyone. My name is Kathie Poindexter, and I'm a product marketing manager for Epicor software. Today I'm going to be discussing applying project management methodologies in manufacturing. Manufacturing facilities use traditional management processes such as developing business plans and budgets for high-level management of their business. However, it is often found that there are several problems with these processes. They may not present an integrated approach to the equally useful at corporate, plant, and departmental levels. Reports are often developed that focus on trends rather than work accomplishments. New processes need to be established to overcome these issues, such as incorporating the ability to relate work activities and their results to resources and be able to track this data rigorously. In addition, reports need to be focused on the results, work, and costs, rather than simply dealing with costs alone. And finally, key performance indicators need to be developed to monitor and identify on an ongoing basis and not waiting till the end of the process. I'm going to do a brief overview of Epicor software and then move into project requirements in manufacturing, then some of the key processes that you need to look into, what are some of the reporting and analysis tools that are useful, and then I'll summarize and see if I have time for any questions. Epicor was founded in 1972. We have over 800 million in revenue, and we are a privately held corporation with over 3,800 employees, with 400 partners, and over 20,000 customers around the world. We are an international global company. As you can see by some of the logos on the bottom of the screen, we have received many accolades and awards for our solutions. We provide next generation solution today. It provides end-to-end functionality, provide better business management with industry-specific and vertically focused and highly intuitive user interface. We add capabilities for industries such as aerospace and defense, automotive, medical devices, industrial machinery, and on and on. We are the leading 100% service-oriented architecture that is based on Microsoft.NET and web services. Our flexible deployment for the virtual enterprise will support multi-site, multi-plant, and multi-company facilities. We provide personalization so you can have the user interface you need in order to do your job the best way possible, as well as support broad and effective collaboration both inside the four walls of your company and outside to the global marketplace. We provide integral business insights for stronger business performance with a global footprint and a total low cost of ownership. Project manufacturing requirements. Project manufacturing requirements in manufacturing. There are 4 critical areas you need to focus on in any ERP system to determine if it truly supports a project-based manufacturing. It starts with bidding and quoting. The success of a project-based manufacturer is built around bidding accurately and quickly. How many companies spend significant capital on a CRM system and then continue to do quoting in a manual, ineffective manner? How many times have you walked out on your plant floor, looked at a product and wonder, are we really making any money on this product? And you just don't really know. Project visibility. This is extremely important from the very beginning of bidding on a contract all the way to getting the product out the door. Every project manager's nemesis is coming in the morning and everyone is clamoring for information on shipments and cost, and you're shuffling through paper reports or trying to find the information. A significant amount of time is spent reacting to requests for status. The cash flow of the company is dependent on having an efficient and effective and disciplined process for meeting milestones and tracking costs all the way to earn value. Failure in any of these areas can be costly, and in smaller companies can lead to financial ruin. Managing change. Change is a given. Everyone has to deal with it. Many companies, they're working hard to completely eliminate change. But in a project-based manufacturing company, change happens, and you need to deal with it. You need to be able to embrace it and manage it, and it will become a competitive differentiator on how you do manage those changes. You need to exceed the project goals in order to keep your cash flow going. Finally, financial performance tracking. Being able to meet milestones and control costs will lead to higher profits and industry-leading cash flow, because in the end, it's all about taking those milestones, getting the earned value, and getting proper revenue recognition. What are some of the challenges? Complex products and with long lead times. The need to accurately estimate and quote to win new business. You need to be able to synchronize your production with your supply chain and your customer requirements, all the way through your purchasing material for specific customer orders and projects or contracts. You need to be able to compare your budgeted costs with actual costs for each customer order while managing the installation of a product at a customer site. And then you need to follow through to be able to provide efficient after-sales support and functionality for your customers. If you have some or most of these challenges, then you may need project-based manufacturing capabilities. What are some of the concerns? You don't want project surprises. When the end of the project audit shows that you're less profitable than you planned, well, we all know bad things happen. Missed milestones, missing shipments, overrunning costs, late deliveries, they're an issue for any company. But missing a milestone on a project typically means you can't invoice on time. Not invoicing, no cash coming in. Project-based manufacturers typically have to carry heavy reserves of cash for this lack of predictability. Cost overruns or being over budget. Not much needs to be said here. Just a plain lack of timeliness visibility is a huge problem. Some of the initiatives for manufacturers supported by project management capabilities, including the ability to redefine manufacturing and your operations procedures to handle the growing complexities of production work. You have the objectives of you need to optimize your resources, improve your process efficiencies, minimize risks, and finally implement the best practices that will lead to greater profitability. Rapidly changing technology is shortening the product life cycle. It's increasing the emphasis on the episodic one-off disciplines in engineering, design, testing, and even all throughout your product life cycle. The increased outsourcing is forcing manufacturers to manage a team of subcontractors as an extension of their own shop floor. And finally, companies in more traditionally project-intensive industries like aerospace and defense, capital equipment, industrial machinery, are also finding that they need to exercise increased control over project costs and other variables in order just to remain competitive. What are some of the key processes in enterprise project management? Some of the key functionality. You need a robust and comprehensive work breakdown structure with support for multiple different types of billing methods and types. Full workflow and approvals so that the proper people get the jobs done at the right time with the right people authorizing it. And as I mentioned before, project visibility is key. You need comprehensive reporting and analytics. It needs to be fully embedded throughout your business. It needs to be linked to your bids and quotes, integrated with your sales, manufacturing, and purchasing. You need to have scheduling and advanced planning tools fully embedded with a completely configurable transaction flow. You need to have an ease of creating the project. You need to be able to duplicate projects that you've done before from the same customer or similar product, or even from templates that you may have. You need to be able to create orders that are tied to that project. Everything from your sales to your manufacturing to your purchasing to your service contracts and aftermarket repair orders. You have to have strict project to contract relationships, and this is especially paramount in the defense industry where everything is managed to a contract and projects within that contract. And finally, you need to define defaults such as approvals that are unique for that project alone. A particular project manager may need to approve time entries or expenses before they can be booked to that project to make sure it's going to the project that they're managing. Your flexible work breakdown structure, it needs to have unlimited phases or subphases, or sometimes referred to as elements and sub-elements. Multiple cost collection options and at different points within the project. You need to be able to have multiple tasks, and each of those tasks, you need to be able to define the required roles to accomplish those tasks and make sure that the right people are working on them, that they're authorized. You need to be able to forecast both your effort and the duration of time needed, as well as define workflow overrides. You may have unique workflow for a particular phase within that project that differs from your standard workflow. The project to contract relationship allows you to link your project to the contract and the customer. It's very important that you can flow down contract requirements. Specifically in the defense industry, you have to flow down federal acquisition regulation, defense federal acquisition regulation, priority ratings of orders, so that orders that need to be delivered first to the defense contract are put out first, that you don't end out working on them after the fact for something less important. You need to define the different invoicing methods. You may have cost plus, you may have time and materials, you may have fixed price. They can all be mixed within the same project. You need to be able to do that at different phases based on what you're working on. In a global environment, you may need to define doing things in different currencies. You may need to invoice in a different currency than your home currency, as well as have different references and details that are specific to a particular task or phase. And finally, you need to define your revenue recognition, when it happens, based upon what activities. You need to be able to maintain your project changes. Critical is being able to maintain the baseline of the project. Where was it in the beginning? And that can never be changed. That is the baseline. Then you keep track of your revisions and the changes and the variations as they move forward. They need to go through an approval workflow before that change can be enacted. It might require an engineering change to your product. It might be a cost change. Something's going to cost more than expected, or it's going to take longer than was originally approved. You need a full history of those changes so you can always go back and find out, well, why did this happen? Why were we delayed? Or why did it cost more? Or why was there a different product delivered than was originally specified? And you need to be able to have linkage to all the supporting documents that authorize those changes. The engineering drawing, linkage to that as well. Project management and reporting. It needs to stay focused on the results, the work, the costs, rather than simply dealing with costs alone. Key performance indicators need to be developed to monitor and identify issues on an ongoing basis, not at the end of the process. Project cost reporting. Here's some examples of different reporting mechanisms that really help. You need full cost reporting all the way through your entire project WBS, down to the lowest level that you need to manage your project, showing the revision history, as well as having immediate access to actual performance against the budget and your estimates, not waiting for financial month ends to get this information. This should be at your fingertips when you need it. Finally, you need to have visibility to the cost to complete your project. Where am I going to be when I finish? You need to be able to analyze your project. You need to have a system that has prepackaged project metrics and key performance indicators. You need to be able to see these in different manners. Some people like to see things graphically. They need to see them in a pie chart. They may prefer bar graphs. It's how they visualize things. Other people want to see them in a spreadsheet format because that's how they understand things. So they need to be flexible. You need to see analysis of all your budget estimates and actual values and drill down to the details, the actual transaction that contributed to that cost that you're looking at. Obviously, you need to know, is your project profitable, and not waiting till the end to find that out. So you need to provide a summary of all your projects completed and running over a given period of time. And you need to provide projected profit per project, as well as the projected revenue down to the customer level. Project costing, you need to see all the costs, showing ongoing projects with current costs, projected costs, and the projected budget, and graphically depicted so you can see it visually, and you can see the red flags if there's a problem and react as quickly as possible. The project manager is a key person in a project manufacturing environment. They need to have at their fingertips a visibility of their projects. So you need to have a view of all their open projects assigned to that particular manager, with the costing details broken down by phase, the invoices, timesheets, expenses, and POs, as well as graphs to depict the actuals versus the various different cost elements. Some program managers or project managers focus on certain estimates and certain costs. Others want to see it different ones. They need the flexibility. Earned value management is a standard way to measure a project's performance and where you're at. It measures the progress. It provides a forecast towards completion date and what the final cost will be, as well as providing schedule and budget variances along the way. Earned value management has the ability to combine the measurements of scope, schedule, and cost, all in a single integrated system. And it provides an accurate forecast of project performance problems so that you can do something with them before they become a crisis. EVM started out back in the industrial manufacturing age, back in the turn of the 20th century. And it was based largely on a principle called earned time. But the concept did not take root until around the 1960s by the United States Department of Defense. In the late 1980s and then into the 1990s, EVM emerged as a project management methodology that needed to be understood by managers and executives, not just that earned value management specialist that understood it. And then in the 1995 to 1998 timeframe, the EVM criteria, the standards, were transferred to industry with the adoption of ANSI EIA 748 standard, which is currently at revision B. The use of EVM has expanded beyond the Department of Defense into the NASA, the Department of Energy, and other technology-related industries and agencies. Many industrialized nations have adopted earned value management to monitor their own procurement programs, most notably the United Kingdom and Australia. They also have regulations requiring it for contracts. But the popularity of EVM has grown significantly beyond the typical government contracting world. And in that sector, the importance continues to rise. Why is earned value management important? It compares the planned amount of work with what has actually been completed and to determine if the cost and schedule and work accomplished are progressing as planned. And it provides early warning signals for prompt corrective action. We know that bad news does not age well. Waiting to react to bad news only makes the news get worse. You need to have time to recover when there is a problem, and this gives you that early warning. And finally, if you do need to ask for additional funds, much better to ask for them early in the process than at the end when you're already in an overrun situation. Now to summarize, what are some of the key points? A successful enterprise project management system for a manufacturing operation must be fully embedded in the company resource planning system. The visibility needs to be from the bid to completion. Efficiently scheduling of resources. You need to have workflows and an approval process that's easy to use. Easy is very critical here. Ready access to current status and costs, and in a format that's friendly and may differ for different people depending upon how they like to see things. You need to be able to handle variations and changes in scope, as well as produce accurate and timely invoices. Without accurate and timely invoices, no cash is coming in, and no project will be successful. You need to be able to accurately and consistently account for all project transactions and be able to drill down and see those transactions that bring up to that rolled up information you have of why you're where you're at on the project. And finally, critical throughout, as I mentioned from beginning to end, I can't stress enough the project visibility. You need to provide accurate and timely metrics. I hope you found this helpful. Basically, I want to thank you for being here today. I hope it helps you understand project management and how it can be applied to manufacturing. If you have any questions here, or you can stop by our booth at booth 3820.